Welcome to Grip Grind Glory, where grapplers train with purpose and grow through the grind. And now, your host thought-provoker and fellow grinder, Anna Janovics.
Hello my friends and welcome back to Grip Grind Glory. This is episode 4 and today we're talking about self-belief and more specifically self-belief on and off the mat. You see, we had this conversation the other day at the club, one of those casual chats that ended up opening something big for me. We were talking about this idea that's all over martial arts marketing, saying that martial arts build confidence. Like, you sign up, show up, and boom, you're confident. I mean, that's how it sounds, right? But in real life, it's not that straightforward. And we started picking this apart, asking, does it really build confidence? And if it does, how and when and for who in the first place? And what we all noticed was that confidence doesn't come guaranteed with your membership. It's not a default. A lot of the time, it depends on the coach, the tone they use, the language, the culture they build, and first and foremost, their relationship with the members, whether they create a space where people feel safe enough to try and fail, ultimately. And that's when I realized that maybe the question isn't whether martial arts build confidence, but rather what changes first, your skill or your sense of self. So I did what I usually do when a topic grabs me like that. I went to the library. I pulled a bunch of books on confidence and I wanted to see what the research says, how it works. And one book stood out for me. It's called Competence, Philosophy by Charles Pépin, and I really hope I say his name right. He makes a distinction I had never considered before. Confidence versus competence. Confidence is the belief that you can figure something out. Even when you're unsure, you just move. But competence is specific. It's a skill. It's knowledge, essentially. It's the product of repetition and, learning. And the line that really hit me was that confidence isn't the result of mastery. It's what lets you begin the journey to mastery. And that flipped everything for me. Because we often think confidence is what you get after you get at something, right? But actually, it's what allows you to become good in the first place. Astounding. You can be incredibly competent and still full of doubt. And on the other hand, you can be brand new, but walk into a room with your head up, ready to learn, ready to try again. That's confidence. I thought about Olympians when I read that. These are people who have trained their entire lives. They've got medals, hit records, mastery, you name it. And yet, when their competitive careers end, many of them feel completely lost. We've all heard stories, right? Because competence, even at the highest level, the level they're at, doesn't automatically mean you trust yourself to start over. When your entire identity is built around a specific skill and that skill is no longer in use, what's left, right? So that's why confidence has to be something more than just being good. It has to come from somewhere else. Now, think about kids for a moment in martial arts. Most of them didn't wake up one morning and decided they wanted to grapple all right. They're brought in by their parents, hoping it'll help with discipline, focus, confidence, and what have you. But what ultimately determines whether that confidence actually shows up is the environment and not martial arts. You see, if a kid comes into space where they're shouted at or ignored when they mess up, they're not building confidence 100%, but rather fear and hesitation, shame. But if they walk into a space where they feel encouraged, where effort is noticed, not just results, then something really powerful happens. And that's when self-confidence starts to grow. Now, there is a subtle difference between confidence and self-confidence, because confidence is I think I can do this. But self-confidence is, even if I can't do this yet, I am worth the effort to keep trying. So it's not about being the best, it's about trusting yourself to show up, fail, and then learn. I personally think it's the same for adults, because most people walk into a martial arts gym because, they come in looking for something. Sometimes it's fitness or structure, community, but often they're looking for themselves, a sense of self, I think, even if they don't know it yet. They're looking for a shift in how they feel in their own skin. And they want to reclaim something. May it be dignity, courage, discipline, you name it. And from what I've seen and what I've certainly lived is that the first thing that changes is this sense of I belong here, I can do hard things, and I can figure this out. That's what martial arts build when they're done well. For me, that happens like literally every single session. I come into training with something on my mind, something I want to face in that session. I set my goal on my way to the dojo and want to see whether I can achieve it. Don't think huge goals. They're not, impossible goals. Not, like something like not skipping any of the warm-up exercises or something similar sometimes will do. And I get to test that on the mat. And that's amazing, because all these little goals get me further and further on my path to the best version of myself, the reason why I'm there in the first place. And this is also the reason why we encourage people in all of our challenges to read the goal-setting motivation material and set themselves up for winning, for achieving their goals, whatever they might be. If we zoom out on what martial arts give you, the way I see is that it gives you all the three things: confidence, self-confidence, and competence. Confidence is obviously the belief that you can handle the unknown, that you can act without certainty. Self-confidence is the deeper belief that you're worth showing up for again and again, even after failure. And then competence comes obviously with time and repetition. But competence isn't what transforms you as a person. So if you ask me, dear listener, does martial arts build confidence or competence, I think my answer is that it's the wrong question to start with. Because the real magic is in how martial arts builds self-belief through action. Through testing, showing up on days when you don't want to, through small wins that only you notice because you set the goal, and big failures you come back from anyway. And that's where transformation lives, I believe. And just to be clear, and this is very important to emphasize, I think, this is something any single sport would give you. I know we all love martial arts, me included, but it's not magic. Martial arts won't automatically make you more confident than football, swimming, climbing, whatever. That's just the truth. That's my truth anyway. What matters is how you show up and how you train and what kind of environment you're in. And that's what builds self-belief, not the sport itself, not any of the martial arts themselves. So no, martial arts doesn't automatically build confidence, but it can if the space is right, the culture is right, and your effort is real. A good coach doesn't just teach you how to throw or fall, but also how to stand back up as someone you trust. And that's what we're here for, aren't we? To build character. And so that's a wrap for today, my fellow grapplers. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. There's a lot to talk about confidence, but this is what I could cram into today's episode. Check out our online challenges at www.gripgrindglory.com. We're really excited to get started with the Iron Grip on the 8th of September. We would love to see you guys there. I'll be back with a new episode next week. But until then, let's grip, grind, and glory.